now of Shabbos. The Torah talks about the Meraglim. Meraglim is the chet that we're still living through. It's a Tisha B'Av, happened on Tisha B'Av, and that klola, if you want to call it that, is for all deiches. The thing there, that Tisha B'Av is a bad day, whatever it is. And if you go through history, you'll find out many of them. Chutz Beis Hamikdash, and you had Beita, you had the First World War, kicked out of Spain. All of these things were on Tisha B'Av. So I'm saying, so you're going on a Tisha B'Av is a bad day l'doyos. And they did it there. And the question is, what it was the chet really? I mean, it was a big chet. Of course, you don't want to listen to Ben Shalom, you're making trouble. But the understanding, the whole thing, what is the chet? And the shaila is, when Moshe died because of the Meraglim, and we didn't know that from, because in the Parshas Seforim, it says over there, right in the beginning of the between in Shlishi, says Gam bi Yisanaf Hashem b'glalchem leimor Gam ata leisovei shom. You won't forget him. Yeshua ben Nun ha'emed lefanecha. Whatever it is that he tells you. So the reason that Moshe Rabbeinu died is because of Meraglim. And we all know the reason Moshe Rabbeinu died is because he hit the rock, right? So no, the reason is he died is because of the Meraglim. Aber he didn't do anything by the Meraglim. He opposed the Meraglim. So why is he dying? I will show what the problem that he did was. That is true. Aber l'maise, that you won't die for. So why did he die? Because the Meraglim. Aber you didn't. What was the chet that you did? The chet is you hit the rock. That's the chet that you did. But the reason I'm killing you to make sure that you're going to hit the rock. You're going to make the toys. You're going to make all that thing because I want you dead. Why do I want you dead? Because of the Meraglim. Now, to understand that is a little bit schwer. By Ahren we find the same thing. Ahren made the eagle, right? And it says Ben Shalom was very angry with Ahren, right? What did he do? He made the eagle. He didn't even make the eagle really, because the way he describes the eagle, he says he threw the gold into the fire. Vayetze ha'egel hazeh. The eagle walked out. In other words, it was obviously a lot of, I can't say kishuv, a lot of stuff that was happening that the Bench wanted to happen that's not normal stuff. And so what are you punishing me for? But the ikir was, you made it. You made the chaylis that there was shayach and aved zoch. If you would have put up a fight, I had a cheshbon. My cheshbon was be a mechad, and therefore the gullus would be so bad, and stuff like that. There's the grace of kindness and everything else, but that's not your cheshbon. That's a cheshbon that the bench makes cheshbonis. He doesn't want such a thing. But your job, you want kind of navi, you're mechad, and therefore because of that, you gave them the chaylis to make an egel. That's no excuse for. You really didn't expect it to happen. You expected that Moshe Rabbeinu is going to be back the day before. Somehow, the thing that you also made a cheshbon, the wrong cheshbon in the 40 days. I can't understand the cheshbon that they made the cheshbon, the wrong cheshbon in the 40 days. You know, they have the old, the jokes. Boy chase, all of a sudden, 6 o'clock is not here. The end of the thing. But that doesn't really mean a kipshute. I mean, it means that somehow, but according to Ahren, he made a 2-day mistake. Because the Meraglim came to him, unless you say all took one place in one day. I mean, the Egel took place in one day. The whole argument would give me the money, give me this, and the whole thing, and couldn't stall them more than the one day, something like that. It's fair to say that. Okay, I don't know, I can't say I wasn't there, so I can't answer you. So but Meraglim is the same thing. The Bein Shalom says, Shlach l'cho anoshim. Rashi says in the Farish, I'm not advising you to do it. If you want to send them, Shlach l'cho. But that means you're taking full responsibility. And responsibility, rayos, means responsibility. It's not like the guys say, I take responsibility, and then you forget about it. What do you mean you took responsibility? What does it mean you took responsibility? I guarantee this. How do you guarantee it? You're going to pay me the money back? What are you guaranteeing me back when you say the words, I guarantee this is the way it is? Well, how are you guaranteeing? You have a guarantee in the box. Money, don't like it, bring back the thing, I'll give you the money back. That's a guarantee. But if you some of the guarantee, I guarantee it, what does it mean? It means nothing. So the same thing over here, that normally people say, I take responsibility. What does that mean? Nothing's going to happen to you if you took responsibility. So that's me. We just had such a mice, I don't know, but in the government, guy took responsibility. I don't remember regarding what. Okay, but this is the thing. Responsibility means nothing. But if there's a einish, then responsibility means something. You take responsibility for what happens. Okay, people died because of your error. So the shaila is, what was my error? That was the question. That's really what we're trying to think there. All he did, he had a logical time. He must have somehow, he must have heard that people were having complaints about Eretz Yisrael, and he was trying to avoid it. And just like you hope that if you guarantee, you tell somebody, oh, you want to inspect it? Go ahead. So then the guy says, oh, I probably don't need inspection, so they let it go by without inspection. Why? Because he was so brave. Now, on the other hand, they play good poker. So then the mice, if you say you inspect it, you figure the guy's going to think like that, and that's how you sell him the bum job. I mean, this is it's a good trick anyway. But I mean, but let's assume that it's emes. That's what that if you're letting me do it, so probably there's nothing to check into. But obviously they didn't take your word for it. So they went to see what is there. Okay, so obviously they made up their mind before, and we see that Moshe Rabbeinu realized this when he finally sent them, that he maybe by the Rabbeinu Shlom's answer, Shlach l'cho anoshim, I wasn't asking to your rules, what you felt you wanted to give them. I hope they don't need it, or you shouldn't give it to them, or don't let it give them a Pesach, to turn down whatever. However you want to learn Pshat, that the Rebbeinu Shlom disagreed with Moshe Rabbeinu. In what prat did he disagree in? But the point was that Moshe Rabbeinu realized that he's in trouble. Okay, there's no other one is. Now, why would he be in trouble? Why wouldn't he want Eretz Yisrael? He wouldn't want Eretz Yisrael for the simple reason. They're 210 years in Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim, Taka has no rain, doesn't have seasons, but has one thing that nothing else is. Gan Hashem V'Isahi. That's the thing that the Torah describes it. The Lashon back in Lech Lecha, where light is picking the Kika HaYarden, which is Doim, right? Which is the Dead Sea, that area, right? Hot like anything, right? Terribly hot, right? You got the Dead Sea, you got the, what do you call it? Oh, but the Lashon is here. It's hard to turn the pages, I'm sorry. Okay. Vayivcha lo'elot is called Kika Hayada v'yisal v'keni v'yergi. Avan yesh be'oz Kenan v'lo yesh be'oz Hakika v'yalad Zedom. V'anshi, forget that. Hashem, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be before. Vayisol lo'it is ein of Vayal is called Kika Hayadin ki kula mashki l'fnei shachas Hashem is doim v'samayla ki gan Hashem ke Eretz Mitzrayim. In other words, that Eretz Mitzrayim is Gan Hashem. And I don't know, so what does it mean? That it doesn't need rain. It's irrigated. They have the Nile Delta. You have here, and you see on any map of the Sahara is now taken over the whole big top of Africa. Africa looks like this. It comes like that. So the whole top part of Africa is now for the Sahara. And after it came, Mitzrayim is still, but not all of Egypt, just the part around the Nile Delta, which was probably the Mitzrayim of old, but the thing don't. And there, because you irrigate it, it doesn't rain in Mitzrayim. There's no trees in Mitzrayim, but you irrigate it. You got Hashem. It's a garden. It's a thing there. So that's what they do. Okay, so they were used to it. It's a nice climate. They're used to the climate, right? I claimed Eretz Yisrael is a small land. It's as big as New Jersey. That's I think they claim it is. Maybe if they had the whole Eretz Yisrael, it would be bigger than New Jersey. Basically, they can't answer you, but it's about the size of New Jersey, and yet in it is all the different temperature ranges that people like to live in. If you want it hot, you want to live in Miami, you move to Bnei Brak. It's in the summer. It's what do you call it? It's humid. It's what do you call it? I like that. I like the humidity. I like a little cool breeze. Go to Yerushalayim, go to Tzfas. I like skiing. Go to Har Hermon. You know, you see, and then you want it. It's mamish. You want deep sea fishing. Go to Eilat. I mean, there's plenty of stuff there. Why do you make you all these different temperatures and stuff in one little small place? We all come from Golis. And you think you can live in a hot spot? I don't think guys can live at 90 degrees all the time, right? Because I lived in New York, so I can't do it. I lived in what do you call it, in Africa or something like that. I can take it, so I'll go to the hot part. They come from Golis, a cold spot. I go to the cold part. They think that. So the Ransham has different temperatures, different things in one little country. Okay, so they wanted that temperature, whatever it is, and why should we move? You saw what happened to the guys who died in the mountain house in Choshech, so why didn't you learn the differences? Yeah, they didn't even want to go out. We're masking to go out. But when you're telling us we're going over there to the end of land and live, it's a different type of temperature, different type of style than we live. So we don't want to go. But for a reason, we want to believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We want to do this. They're not revolting against the Rebbeinu Shalom in the sense like that. Those guys died in Choshech. They would have died too. But no, we're willing to go out. There's nothing to do with that. Or Bel L'Mais, if you tell me this or this, somehow they didn't feel they had this chiyuv to go there. You know, it's like it's for them, it's for their benefit. But if they have a better benefit, they can make that cheshbon. And that, I think, is the pshat mememte shari tumah. That the pshat is we don't find that the Yidden were rishoyim, they were not mememte shari tumah. So what does it mean they were mememte shari tumah? They wouldn't be able to be zoichet to the gula. It would have been a little longer. The pshat is that they didn't do things al pi ha'Torah anymore. You made your own cheshbenis in what you think. You knew things, and because you knew things and you believed things and stuff like that, you made up your rules as you went along. So you have all the chatoyim that we have of all the gedolim and the first things, whether it's Odasim V'Aviram, or what do you call it, Yodav Avihu, or the Meraglim, or Kairach. All of them were big people, right? But the shaila is, why did they do the things there? Because they solved problems their way. They didn't bother asking Moshe Rabbeinu, how do we solve this problem? Or what do we do? Or what should we do? Or anything like that. We have our own brains, and we lived through Mitzrayim, and we did it on our own. We had no Meseirah Mitzrayim and stuff like that. So even though we got the Kabbalah Satera, but the Messiah was still missing them, and they knew most of the stuff, as they say, anyway. But they did what they did anyway. Didn't make a difference. And the Torah gives them the title as if they did it like Yoshoyim. So like you have a Shlemis Bas Divri, was not really a Zoyna. It was thought was Lashon. It was an accident, not an accident, I mean, but the Mitzri pretended to be her husband, which was Dasan, and he pretended to be her because if you have no electric lights, it's dark at night. And the thing over there, so maybe if you have no street lights outside, it's dark at night. We have what's called light pollution. That we don't. There's only two places in the United States. I don't know where they are. But there's only two places in the United States that is total darkness, that a person can actually see the skies at that time. They see all the stars and all the things that you think that we only see a little bit of what's there because light is all over the place. And the thing of that, and so that's called light pollution and stuff like that. There they didn't have it, so it was pitch black. You know, if it was a dark night, it was a dark night. You don't know, especially if you're inside the house and there's no electric, no this, you don't know, so it can be anybody you want. So he really only faked it. The pshat is, why would he do such a thing, the mitzvah? I mean, what would he make it have? I mean, that it's thing there. They could have done this to all the Jewish women then. I mean, why did they pick on Shlemis Bas Divri then? And the thing there, like Mashpin says, there's only one among the Yidden. So I said the pshat is, in the pshat, Shlemis Bas Divri, like you have what you call the hard hats, construction workers, usually considered notorious womanizers. That they whistle all the time, they have nivul peh, and they do things that they shouldn't, to a woman that walks by, and it makes them feel uncomfortable. So I assume she was a pretty woman, and what do you call it? And they did that to her, and it's very uncomfortable. So normally, what do? I move out of the neighborhood, or I don't go at the time when they're there, or I leave before they're there, or something there. No, she had a different answer. I'll become their friends. I'll bring them out coffee in the morning, with donuts, and then they won't do it again to me. Because they embarrassed me, and kaka have it. But what did the mitzvah think? Why is she giving me coffee and donuts after we insulted her? Oh, Mr. because she's looking for trouble with us. So therefore we did it. So she's next if she's the one that actually did it. But she didn't really do anything. Same thing here. So Moshe Rabbeinu, I guess it's the same point, in a way. Moshe Rabbeinu, really, the Benishim told him, I don't want you to do it. So why are you doing it? You know, really, the Shelach L'cha Anoshim. I mean, I don't want you to do it, so why are you doing it? It was, I know the better. I know the guy. I mean, what do you mean you know better? I mean, I can't answer the question. That's why you died for that. So what did he do? Let's see what he did. So he tells them, what was the time? Let's see how it involves him, how he does it. Over there, what it says when they came. You were like Kulchem. How does it go there? Okay. Yeah. When they like Kulchem, you guys all came to me. By time and Nitzchal Nashim Fanenu V'Yachbur Lanu Es Oretz V'Yishuva Yisodov Yisodov as Aderech Hashanalebo Yisodov Hashanova Yadlayim. No, we need a reconnaissance. We want to invade a country, so we have to know how to invade it. And then right? It's a military strategy we need. They're not talking about doing any Averos here. Right? And what does he say? He seems to leave out the whole thing here of what it is, and it still says the Benisham was angry at me for you, and here he tells you the reason. He says, what did he tell them? So what happened? They came to him, they asked for reconnaissance. Vayishlach Moshe l'suras Eretz Canaan to reconnaissance. Vayelel ha'maluzavad nerech v'alisa mesohor. Lisa mesohor tzmahi. Mesohom ha'yishu v'lechozik v'arofa. Why? Amatu imrov. Why? Umah ha'oretz asher yesh v'leh. What kind of land they on there? Ha'toivahi imrov. If it's good land or not. Why are you looking at that for? What's it negaya to? I didn't ask you to do that. You want to know reconnaissance. Reconnaissance doesn't have to do with if it's a good land and a bad land. So he snuck them into the thing. Why? Because he wanted them to see how good the land is. And therefore, because he knew what they were interested in. So the thing is, he thought he was going to fail in the thing over there. So, but they thought, now they have a choice, right? Because you're telling us, look at the land. So obviously we have a choice. We want to go or not. So you were mechazik their das. And they were wrong, you were wrong, but it doesn't make a difference. We'll mechazik them. For that you died too. Okay, that's what it says in Seforim. Okay. Yeah. Mo'otz hashmeinahi im roza yesh be'eit zimayin. Okay. So zaktem lekachtem pe'yoretz. Okay. So they went up there and they spent 40 days looking over the land. And they went through the whole land, all 40 of them. I guess they split up. Okay? But they cut off a bunch. They want to bring back grapes. They want to bring back fruits and things. Brought back 3 fruits. Grapes, 1 pomegranate, and 1 fig. The grapes had to be carried by 8 people. Not 4 people, 8 people had to carry the grapes. That's how heavy they were. They made a cheshbon, I don't remember the cheshbon, they got it in the book, whatever it is, the Gemara says it makes a cheshbon of how many saw there were in it. And it came out that if you'd say that the bunch is that every grape was the size of a cantaloupe or a watermelon. You want to be technical. Okay. So that's the size of the grape. What's the yichus of those grapes? You want to make wine? No, it's gishmak. Okay? You want to make wine. Instead of having hundreds of boxes of grapes, take 1 grape, stick it in the thing, smash it up, and you got to have barrels of wine. But what is it going to do if I want to put it in the safe? I want to eat grapes. You can't eat them. What are you going to do? Keep cut it like a watermelon? Watermelon's a messy business. Why don't you always take a snack from a watermelon? Why do you take a bunch of grapes instead? Because this ganze Sache doesn't work. This is all messy. I have to cut it. I got to wash it there. Got to find a place to stick the rest of the watermelon. I mean, it's not a portion of mindset. The thing though. Okay. So I don't believe that pshat is that everything was like that. In other words, it could be that they had, for wine grapes, this was the size. You also had eating grapes. Okay, that's also cool back, but maybe the bunch was this big. Sometimes you figure a bunch, you see, you get them from Costco, you get a box like this, it's all 1 bunch. You know, it's a thing like that. You know, I'm going to get 1 bunch. I mean, it depends how you cut it, where you cut it. There's a lot of grapes in a bunch. The funny thing now, you see, interesting, we have eating grapes, the green grapes, the red grapes, the black grapes, right? There's green grapes. But there's also wine grapes, Concord grapes. How are Concord grapes? They're very small, the size of a pea, and stuff like that. They have a different taste. You can buy them to eat if you want, but it's usually not sold for the thing though. You can taste the wine in them. You can taste the grape juice at least. That's how juicy they are. And a thing like that. So it's a different taste. So I assume that they had the same thing there, and the idea was that if you want to make grapes, it was very big. And you find the concept of bracha's size also. And the Gemara brings down the time Shlom Tzion, that's what do you call it, Alexander Yanai's wife, and after he died, so she became the Malka, Shemoneh Shetach's sister. So she became the Malka. She moved for 9 years. And the thing is, in the time that she was a Malka, there was such shalom that the tefua was so big that the wheat was the size of a wheat kernel, was a kidney, like a kidney, and the size of a lentil was the size of a guinea, and a zov, and whatever. They gave 3 different shiurim or 3 different things that grew. They show that's the chet, that's maktin, not the proper, not nothing to do with climate or anything else. And they show there because at the time of Shlom Tzion, that's such shiburacha in the world. So obviously, of course, if I'm making flour, it's easier to make it out of a bunch of guys the size of the kidneys. There are little things you have to get the shelach off after each thing. You have to bang it. You have to do all different malachas. You know, malachas. So anyway, so it's a lot easier if it was bigger. But I'm saying, but if you want to eat the thing itself, that's not a mile. Okay.
What's the point of a pomegranate the size of a pumpkin?
Okay, so it's also made for juice. For juice.
For juice ones and dates also?
Pomegranates are made for juice. And the only one is the fig. So my kasha was on the fig. The fig is made for eating. If you take a look at what's the title of the Shiva Minim. The Shiva Minim, why Shvach Haaretz with the Shiva Minim? I happen to like peaches better than pomegranates, right? I like an apple better than a date. I mean, so when you tell me, give me the Shvach Haaretz with these things, it's not Pshat and Shvach Haaretz. Shvach Haaretz is that I'm giving you staples. That means you have bread that you have for the animals. You have chitim and soyim there. And you see how important chitim is? You ever heard of the book Mutiny on the Bounty? So they was interested, what they happened, they came to Jamaica, the English. They took over to the islands around in the Caribbean. And they grew sugar cane. That was over there. But they didn't have any wheat. They didn't have a staple. In America, what was the staple? The staple was corn. In China, the staple was rice. So some parts of China, in South China, was rice. You think that you need a grain, you need a staple. A person has to have something, the lechem, that you have to have. Everything else is lafis boisa pas, but you have to have pas. Okay, so there was there's a tree that they sent them for to get called the breadfruit tree, which was in the islands of the Pacific. And they were supposed to bring it back and they'll plant it in Khmer, so they'll have a fruit that grows on the island as a fruit, but that's like a bread. The breadfruit tree, I have no idea what it looks like, I have no idea what it tastes like. So anyway, that's called the breadfruit tree. And they had a mutiny because it was more important to the captain who had this mission to bring the trees back that they used this water. But it was very hot, there was no rain. So they only had to use up the water, so they only let everybody have only 3 sips of water a day. And the rest of the water we used for keeping the trees alive. So they made a mutiny on it, and they think, but they didn't go to England. So that's the story, but that's the irrelevant. You need such a thing. So that's chitim saying. You need a sweetener. That's the dates. You need a drink, right? That's the pomegranate. It's not only that. Adayim, what's the pomegranate? That's a healthy drink. You want the pomegranate juice. That's what you think. How do you drink it? It's a sour, whatever the thing is. How do you drink it? Good. That's the soda, if you want to call it that. Then you have the kosher drink, the wine, and the thing over there. You needed fat to cook with. That's the olive, right? So there we have all 6 already. The only fruit he has is the fig. And the fig is because the Gemara says that the fig is whenever you eat it, how you eat it, doesn't make a difference. It's always healthy for you. So therefore, that's a shvach haaretz of those things there. Now you happen to like other fruit too, you can buy everything. That's a different thing. But Lemay sells the shvach haaretz. I supplied you with everything you need. Now, how do you eat dates? Figs, menich. So we can have them if you need a shechi on Rosh Hashanah, you get the fresh ones, right? But Lemay, the rest of the you eat them dried figs. That's the way you eat them there, and that's you make them into a pack. You pack them together, right? So really there, all you do is cut off a piece, whatever you want. It doesn't spoil anymore. You don't have to refrigerate, don't have to do anything. You just cut off a piece and eat it. So if you have a big fig, zeichet good, what difference it makes? It doesn't make a difference. So therefore I don't have to have a small one.
You make the cake out of one. It's the same point, the same
No, you make them out of 100 of them, but if I had one big one...
one big one, you don't have to go through the
yes, I wouldn't have done that. It'd be a lot easier. So therefore, that's why he made the fig. Otherwise, there's no reason for it. Okay. And they come back to Eretz Yisrael, and they bring to Moshe, and they present the first thing is they say, we came to the land, and it's Zavas Talav Dvosh,
Only these three.
V'zeh Pirya. They only took these three.
Why not show them the big wheat?
That I don't know. I have no idea why not. I guess this is enough for them. One reason is it says Kalev and Yeshua refused to carry. So that was one thing over there. So the only bread, so 8 guys are carrying the grapes, and 1 guy carries the pomegranate, and 1 guy is carrying the
fruit. Would it make more sense take 1 grape, but need the whole eshkol for? 1 grape shows you the same idea of the pomegranate, and then bring the wheat.
Then you have to explain they all grow together on 1 grove, like a whole bunch of watermelons. How do they grow on a tree like that? Kashi, I don't know. I have no idea. I wasn't there, and but this is what they brought back. Okay. And it says, Rashi says, why did they do this? Because you have to have emes, a sheker stands on 1 leg. Emes is, every letter is 2 legs. An aleph has 2 legs. The mem has this plus this, and the sof has 2 legs. The sheker has 1 leg. The shin is like this, or even like the flat ones, like the svardim. Maybe also contain is like 1 leg. The kuf is 1 leg. Yeresh is 1 leg. It's 1 leg. Why do you need 1 leg? Because sheker can't stand unless you have some kind of emes in there. Once you have emes, you can tadrei the emes, but it has to be emes. Yeah, until they came to the big lie. Right now we see Punkt Fakel. There was no Holocaust. Hitler didn't kill anybody. It's all a sheker. Right? And there's people that believe it. How can you believe it? It's not a sheker. You have all these people telling you it was not like that. Right? Because you wouldn't believe it. So it has nothing to do with the thing. The big lie you can also come across. You can do it. But the pshat is that the normal lie has to have something that the person feels that sounds like emes. Okay. The other one probably there's a sin as the Yisrael, that's what it is. So they brought up the thing, and they said, we came there, and this everything we thought about is emes. Efes ki asom, we can't capture it. Okay. Now, the Emerson, they didn't say anything wrong. And I believe with this statement alone, they wouldn't have been chayiv anything yet. The kavanah taka was rotten. But the Maisa, they said the truth. You sent us on a trip. You told us to decide what is it that we're bringing back. So we made this excursion, and we showed you that everything is, and we're telling you the people are giants, the people are strong, the cities are strong, and things like that. Okay, that's what I sent you out to find that out. What's the one? Don't tie on you. Tell me your kavanah is not right. But that's where did they go wrong? After Kalev. Okay, there's one thing I talked about before. He changes only Yeshua's name. Right? He says by Yeshua, Yeshua, that the Benishim should save you for Atzas Samaraglim. Why is it that, Kalev ben Yefune is his brother-in-law? I mean, whatever you want to say about the man, he's still his brother-in-law. Right? If you're going to pray about, why don't you pray for your brother-in-law? And you wonder why only Yeshua you're praying for. He says the pshat is his brother-in-law he had no problem with. His brother-in-law will stay alive no matter what because he's a smart man. He's able to roll with the punches. He knows how to get around people. He knows how to do that. He would never think. Yeshua is a guy, this is the right thing. I'm telling you, I said it. I am not doing what's wrong. Okay. So how did he get away with not carrying the fruit? That shows you against us, and the stuff like that. So either he faked something, or he's trying to say, I'm trying to get Yeshua on your side, and he has to look like he can trust me, and therefore I have to not carry whatever Baba Mises he can make up for them there. But he had that keach of Baba Mises. That is the thing there. And you should know, like, to make fun of it or something like that, who's the bigger guy? I'm not getting involved in who's the bigger guy. I don't know who's the bigger guy. I mean, Yeshua was older than Kalev, much older, probably much older, but not really much older. I think, because you have to think about really the concept of what we're talking about. Moshe Rabbeinu, or Yeshua is considered the Talmud of Moshe. How long do you learn by Moshe? Before it says Lo Yomish B'Toich Oyel. A year?
About the max. Right?
That's it.
Yeah.
So you're calling him all of a sudden he's the Talmud Mufik of Moshe Rabbeinu. And in 1 year, that's it. What are you, crazy? I mean, that's a Talmud. Talmud's 20 years, 50 years, 100 years. What's 1 year? No, all of us, that's a start. You see how you do it. So I'm sure the others would have done also the same thing. He happened to pick up on it first, maybe, and stuff like that. According to the Rambam, he gives doch in the Messiah, beginning of the Rambam. So he brings down, and Rashi for sure brings it down by Moshe Kibbutz Messina and the Yeshua the Skenim, and he goes over there. Moshe says. So Rashi brings down Pinchas, and he brings down Kalev, and he brings down the other guys. So obviously, why don't they bring it? And the Rambam also brings them. He didn't just give it to Moshe Rabbeinu, give it to Lozo. And the thing there, so what do you mean you only gave it to them? Meaning, but he was the one that took over. He's the main guy. So that's the thing. And there was a lot of Talmidim that I heard. Okay, so good. That thing there, what they're saying like Yeshua, it is, he would take 1 year. Kalev, on the other hand, there are only 3 people of the Torah that are called Eved Hashem. In the Chof Dalit Ksovim, you have a lot that are called Eved Hashem. But in the Torah itself, there's only 3. Avraham, Moshe, and Kalev. So obviously, he's in the right group. He's with the right chevra over there, they call. So he's a big man. Right? How old was he? 40 years old. Half the years of Moshe Rabbeinu. Or even a little less than half the years. But whatever it is, he had this chachma. And they, as they said, they trusted him. So what happened? Vayaz Kalev Yisrael, when he heard them starting to talk about that the Obed Shalom can't do it. There's so many goyim over there, we can't get them, we can't attack them, because even though the Obed Shalom was able to do Mitzrayim, he can't do the Melamed Aleph Melachim. They're too big. I don't know about population-wise, I don't know about Keichach-wise, because obviously, Mitzrayim had a lot of keach in their thing. They had the kishuf, and they had the other things, and their mathematics and stuff, and physics, and all these things. they discovered when we're building the Aswan Dam, that's the dam from the Nile, that they buried the whole city, and that they made water, and that makes their electricity in Egypt, Mitzrayim. So when they made it, they wanted to save the certain temples, so they moved them up to the thing. So one was the temple of Ramses, Ramses II. Some wanted to say he was the Parei Mitzrayim, but it doesn't seem to be so. Anyway, and what was the mile of this temple? This temple was that the sun shined on his, they had a surah of him on the temple, that the sun only shined on it 2 times a year, the minute of his birth and the minute of his death. Now, they were not the same time, the same year, so he didn't die on his birthday. And he didn't die exactly whatever it is there. They're 2 different dates. And they figured out, they took with the computer, it's more than 6 months to be able to position this rebuilding of the thing there, that it should be able to get that. That they're able to get it. And this the Mitzrayim were able to do with their own brains, without the computer. So who knew what keiches they had over there, and what they had. So we don't know. Okay. Okay. So he got up and he started to say, he called out, and they thought he was backing them up. He says, that's all Ben Amram did for us. In other words, so you figure, you tell me more trouble. He's taking us into Sakane, took us to Kriyas Yamsuf, he almost won't drown us, he almost did this. He could have done a lot of things he could have done. He said, look at all the nisim he did in Mitzrayim, look at all the things he saved us from. He was the Shiach Hashem, he was this. Okay, so that's how, now they have to defend themselves. Now became a debate. They say it's no good, he says it's good. Right? Hashem. How do we belittle it? So the first thing we just presented the facts. We said there's no problem with that. So they started to lie. Oh no, some of them first of them from the Bnei Shlen. ויוציא דיבס האורץ אשר תורו עשו את בני ישראל, למה האורץ אשר עברנו בו לא עשו ארץ החלש ישבה היא. It's already a land that kills its own people. That they saw Levias, so they, instead of taking Levias as like a raya that the Beis is protecting us, they shouldn't protect us. And the thing there, then now all of a sudden we can say that, oh, you see the dying, look at all the people dying, and stuff like that. Okay. Everything, I really don't know exactly how they could have pulled that off, because in Manav Shach, I mean, there's a nation there. There's his fathers, there's grandfathers, there's this thing. So a certain amount of years you live there, even though it's a Chel Shishvei. When you have, in this place you have cancer, in this place you have this, in this place you have that. And it's emes takeh. But lemaise, you still have old people, and you still have young people, and one has nothing to do with the other. Okay, but anyway, if you don't really want to go, or there's fear, or they have the fear of it, it's a war we're going to have to fight. And therefore they spoke Lashon Hara. That's when they became chayiv. Now you're dead. Now you what do you call it? And we see the concept of somebody with kids, with the chinuch. How do you get an inferiority complex? Right. So let's see how they explain it. Shomrinu es anafilim b'nei anok v'anafilim. We were in our eyes like Chagavim, and so were we in their eyes. But what happened if you would have been in your eyes like a Gavra, that you Mashiach Hashem or you Shluach Hashem? Then you wouldn't have been. Then they also would have appeared as a Gavra. But since you looked like yourself, you treated yourself as a cockroach, or whatever is a chagovim, or grasshopper. So that's how they looked at you. If that's how you consider yourself, So really, when a guy is, when people look down on him, it's because usually he looks down on himself and the thing over there. Because he looks down on himself, others also look down on him. If he would look like we would have that stolz, there would be the difference is the difference between gaiva and pride. That's the only difference. Stolz doesn't mean gaiva. Stolz means pride. I mean, I'm proud to be a Ben Torah. I'm about gaiva to become a Ben Torah. Okay. So everyone, so that night, everybody believed what they said, and they were all crying that night. You know, what's Benjamin doing to us? And Rashi brings down in Seforim that Liyitzur, if they would have gone right away, they would not have needed any clay zion. So the Benishah would have done, how's the Benishah going to do? Well, like you said, I send the tzira, right? So what happens? The tzira kills everybody. If I don't want to kill it with the tzira, I'll send them a geifa. What's the big deal? You know, I send out a thing there, they get the Black Death, and in 3 days they're all dead, and you take over the whole country. What's the difference? No problem. And the thing over there, why do you need a war? Because they're healthy. That's why you need a war. But if they were dying, they'll never need a war. Right? So the Benishah, if you would have believed in me, it wouldn't have been a problem. You didn't believe in me, then you have to prove you believe in me. You got to go to war. Are you willing to die? You're willing to go to war against cut. That's what the my case Yamsuf. Right? You didn't believe originally, so until until your Nachshon jumped into the water, went up to his neck, you're willing to go weiter, then I'll split the sea for you. Or he would have made a nest, he could have walked in the water, under the water. Wouldn't no difference. Eventually he could do whatever he wanted and then make the thing go. But he split it. But it came that I want to see how much you trust me. If you don't trust me, if you're afraid, you're only going up to your toes and stuff like that, I'm not splitting no seas for you, because then you don't really believe in me. So I'm not going to do anything for you. Okay. They all were saying there. Okay, and that was the thing, and they want to kill everybody. Okay. Okay, and then the Benishah says, okay, wants to kill them. Which he really offered before such a thing. 4 times the Benishah offers this thing. By Raglan, by Egel, and twice by Kolov. By Kerach. There's 4 times that he offers Moshe Rabbeinu his choice of becoming the only one. And the mice is like, you know, whatever the truth tomorrow I have in the book, I forgot already what I wrote there, it's not Negeya. Like the Shiloh was of a chair of 3 feet can't stand, which Avram Yitzchak Yankiv, it's a house one for 1 foot. But you also come from Yitzchak Yankiv, so you're adding on a 4th foot. So what was the kasha there? So they go into explaining what exactly the kasha was. Or that he had there, but that's the thing. But he noticed he uses a different tefillah than he used by the Egel, and the reason for it is, I think, is that when it comes to people doing a chet, the Benishah, it's not enough to give you the same answer, because the same answers would have worked. What difference it make? Where is it? What's your Egel? חם איש לפני השם ויאמר למה השם יחר אפך ברמך שיסיסוך מהם למה יהיה מצרים להם ברוע ציון וארגס ומרון זכר לאבו מצרי ינקיף וינוחם השם על הרוע שדיבר לעשס לעמי. Right? Doesn't say by the Meraglim that by the Egel that he gave him slicha. Nothing at that time. By Yinochem, I'm letting you live. Right? Okay. But if this tefillah was sufficient, so every time the Benishah wants to kill him, he has to bring up the same tefillah. Right? The same thing. Why do I have to pick up a new tefillah? You can't keep going the same averis on the same thing and just say, you know, you got to let me live because you have no choice, you need me. in the thing. I don't need you, Rabbi said. So therefore, I'm going to give you. You need to have a new tefillah, a new understanding, a new tiny you have that maybe there would be. So therefore, you have to. And this is, and this I heard God from. Yishem mi bilti yecheles Hashem lavi somazel Lord Hashem Bavasa. Or he hates us with the number. Oh, it's Shmuel, be careful. Mates hayom hazeh ki shechad v'ema agem Hashem mi bilti yecheles. It's one thing. And mesinas, it says something also somewhere. That you hated them. What do you mean you hate them and stuff? In other words, you made the bar too high. What's the zach? In other words, the Torah is not something that you can live with. The Rebbeinu thought he could give you a Torah and you can live with it. The truth is you can't live with the Torah. It's too big, too much to demand of people, and that's why he killed us. That's a psul of the Torah already. Not just the first one was pshat is you don't have no keach. So therefore, whatever it is there. But now, you need the yechelis. Okay. And Shevenshim does not answer yet where he in before he says Shelach the Hidvarech. Where is it? Say there. It's right, I think. Okay. So he comes. So first of all, he didn't forgive us. He killed out everybody. He didn't kill out one shot. He killed them out for 60 or 40 years, but he killed out everybody. The thing that you're not going to tell yourself. What's the last number? The last 15,000. They lived there. Whatever it is. I mean, that number of 15,000 that they give really depends on how old you were. I mean, one year it could have been 17,000. The next year it could have been only 13,000. But it's you divide 600,000 into 40 years. It's 15,000 a year. But that's all it means. It doesn't mean actually you could take 15,000 died or whatever it is there. Yeah. He says, what am I going to do for them? I'm going to do that they did, there's a lotion, you'll know my taineh. Now, what's tumosi? So tumosi is, the pshat is, I'm doing you a favor, and you're turning me down. So you're going to feel that the rejection of toiv, that's tumosi. So just like you rejected my toiv, I'm going to reject your toiv. What kind of toiv the Jews can do for the Klal? In Emerson, if you think about it, which is the der that's more old to build up Klal Yisrael from? The der HaMidbar, the der Deya, right? The der Eichli Amon. Right? The guys who have all the biggest luchnis think they're shaykh. The guys who will kabbalah the Torah. I mean, you don't need more than these guys. So if you want to build it, so you really need them. I don't need you. You did it. Now you know why. Really, I should keep you alive, but I'm killing you anyway. I don't want you, Toiv. I don't want you. It's a bigger rejection of that. That's why he said, and he uses lotion that you blew to his seichen. I can't find the words at the moment, but that's lotion. Okay, but anyway, that's what he said. That's in the Pasuk Lamed Dalet. Okay, and they themselves, the Meraglim themselves, died in Hagefa. And the Rebbeinu Shalom gives only the two of them that they're going to go into it. They just want to take in. The Benshim gave him extra mitzvahs in the end. And I'm only going to one of them at the moment. The mashma that these mitzvahs that he gave him is only when you come to Eretz Yisrael. Chala, Nisuch, and Menachas, Sachem Menachas for Korbanos, only when you come to Eretz Yisrael. So very well Oretz. Right? So if that's the case. So very well, so why you tell it to me now? Right? So Benjamin is telling him this, that one of the problems that the Meraglim came about is, we said they were all big people, right? Kol Nosi Bahem, each one Anoshim. What do you call it? They take it on Anoshim. But there's something wrong with the Anoshim. There's something wrong with them. Their names, we might say exactly what was wrong with each one. But there's something wrong with each one. There's something wrong with them. They could do that's missing in them. But they're big people and stuff like that. So depends how you stop. The Rebbeinu Shalom, an oila, and a mincha, and an oila, and a shlomim, are two things of recognition of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. An oila recognizes that everything's min Hashem. Now, how do you recognize that? I'm just going to give you that a point by the fact that it's kuli toktir, I have to burn everything up there, so therefore nobody gets anything from this behemoth. So what's the point of doing it? So you're just wasting it. That's all technically you're doing. Like this, every other korban, as much as could be eaten, you can eat as a korban. The only kohanim eat it, but it doesn't get wasted. It's a thing there. Why are you wasting a cow for? The time is because I want to show that the Rebbeinu Shalom really controls everything, and he has everything. And if I bring him the korban with the right kavanas and stuff like that, then I won't be missing it either. If the Rebbeinu Shalom wants me to have it, I'll have another one. Doesn't make a difference. I can recognize I'm doing a ma'aseh that I call man Hashemayim. Like this is just a machshava. Machshava can maybe, you think you believe it, but it's not really true. But by a korban, if you do a ma'aseh, if you didn't feel that when you shechted it, all of a sudden, oh, it just cost me $10,000, and you don't feel that, you feel that, the simcha, that I'm within a mitzvah, we're going to a korban, then all of a sudden you know you passed the test. Okay, so that's the thing, and the bench wants us to keep trying to pass this test. That's the oila. The shlomim is the recognition that with everything I eat is mishulchan gavoya. Instead of just the korban that I'm eating, that's shulchan gavoya. Everything when we sit down to eat is mishulchan gavoya. So you have to recognize that, and you recognize it. So that's a madrega. So obviously in Kol Min HaShemayim, there's a difference between a guy who recognizes it as without his arbit, like in other words, a guy goes into business, right? And he makes money. So he can only make money if the Vention is with you. The Vention gives the eitzah to the guy to walk into your store. You can make all the advertisements and everything else that you do, and there's no way you can guarantee that you'll get somebody coming to your store. Or the Vention gives the guy the eitzah to come into your store, you're going to get the guy. So that your masking comes min Hashemayim. But what about I'm a ditch digger? Or I work with my hands, I'm an electrician, I'm a plumber. That's your arbit that does this. It's Keichi V'Eitzim Yodi does this. So there you have to bring a mincha to understand that. So the shad is like this. So before they made Menachos and the Sochim, what they did was you reached Madrega Aleph. You're a former guy, you're a fine person, you can bring an oila, right? After the Chet HaMeraglim, we don't give shvach for half jobs. If you can't bring the Menachos and the Sochim also, then don't bring the mincha, don't bring the oila, and then don't bring the shlomim. I want you to be able to bring a mincha that even you recognize that that koichi, that my hands work, my blood, sweat and blood is menashemayim. And not only that, it's besimcha. What's nisach hayayin? Nisach hayayin is that I'm maskim, that I'm supposed to have a simcha to understand this. Not that it's a depression. Oh, everything's been a shemayim. I don't know if he wants to give me. I'll go walk around sad all day long. No, it's been simcha. I live that way, and the stuff like that. And then if you don't live that way, then something. So that's, if you would have had that originally, we wouldn't have had mumim with guys with chesronis in them. It would have been in the what he called. It goes through the chesronis. The names are the chesronis, a little to understand. What is it was the chesron? I remember I'm having a book a little bit, and there's one other mefarshim that keep telling you what exactly are the names and the problems that they have. I think there's. And he'll say Hashem, have a good in Shabbos. There's more on each thing. I mean, challah is the simplest one, just a thing the Rosh used to call it income tax and sales tax. In other words, you make the money, you got to give truma. You're spending the money, you got to pay sales tax. That's challah, when you make the bread to eat, then you make the challah. It's maybe she wants both. Well, you got to mean that was the thing though. And you'll say Hashem, have a good summer, Hashem will continue from up there. Like you